In order to make calculations in Microsoft Excel, you need to know how to write formulas and use functions. This video will give you all the basic information you need to be efficient with formulas and functions. You know already that you can type any value in any cell in Excel. Excel will try recognizing what data type is being entered and treat it as text, number or date. It usually does a good job, but it is also known to make some silly mistakes, which have even led to gene names being changed in order to avoid problems. If you enter a mathematical operation, for instance adding two numbers, Excel will treat it as text and will not perform the operation you have just typed. To enter a formula, you simply have to start with the equal sign. Whatever you type afterwards will be treated as a mathematical formula. So to add two numbers, you have to type the equal sign, the first number, plus, and then the second number and press enter. Excel will then display the result of your operation in the cell and the formula you used in the formula bar above your spreadsheet. If you want to change your formula, you can either click on the cell where you want the formula to be changed and change the formula in the formula bar, or you can double click on the cell you want to edit and Excel will show the formula instead of the value. Instead of double-clicking a cell, you can press F2. Formulas you enter in Excel follow the rules of mathematics with operator precedence and how parentheses work. You can therefore create quite complex calculations here. Instead of typing values explicitly, you can refer to values stored in other cells. This is very useful because you do not have to type each formula with explicit values, but rather can refer to results of calculations in other cells. To refer to the value of another cell, simply type its address. For instance, if you want to add values in cells B2 and B3 and show the result in cell B4, then go to cell B4, type the equal sign and then B2 plus B3 and press enter. Everything you can do with explicit numbers, you can do with values stored in other cells. Please remember not to refer to the current cell you are in when you type your formula, because then you will get an error informing you about circular reference. Microsoft Excel adds a lot of value thanks to its rich library of functions that can be used in formulas. There are quite many of them and we will cover them in separate videos. Here we will focus on how functions can be used in Excel. Functions in Excel work in the same way as functions you learned about in your math lessons at school. A function takes one or more arguments and returns a result. Some functions will require arguments of specific data type, for instance a number or a text, and will not work if you provide arguments of incorrect data type. Using functions is very straightforward. You simply have to type the function's name and then provide arguments for this function and close with parentheses. For instance, if you want to calculate the square root of a number, just type in the equal sign, then sqrt, and then the number you want to get the square root of in parentheses. Similarly, if you want to use this function as a part of a formula, you can simply put it there as any other expression. Sqrt is a function that takes one argument only, but many functions take more than one argument. For instance, the concat function can concatenate, or in other words glue together some texts. So you can type the equal sign, then concat, and then in parentheses the texts that you want to concatenate. You will have to separate the arguments with a comma or a semicolon. Which of these two you have to use depends on your regional and language settings. You can always see which character is expected if you look at the hint that Excel displays for your function. And of course you can combine all these things we have been looking at in this video. Let's say that we in cell D2 have the number we want to calculate the square root of. Then in cell D3 we will enter a formula using sqrt to get the square root. And finally in cell D4 we can use the concat function to have a text saying the square root of, then refer to the value in cell D2, and then is, and then refer to the value in cell D3. As you can see here, Excel will automatically recalculate all cells if a value of another cell that is relevant is changed. Additionally, we can see that Excel can convert values between data types. We have said before that concat glues together texts, and here we were gluing together both texts and numbers, but Excel is intelligent enough to do that for you. There are some cases where one has to be careful with type conversion, but we will cover them in another video. You can find functions provided by Excel if you go to the Formulas tab. They are grouped there based on what they do. If you click on Insert Function button, you will see a search window where you can look for the function you need. Just type in a short description of what you want to do and click Go. When you then select a function from the list, or if you pick that function from the buttons visible in the Formulas tab, you will get a small wizard helping you with entering proper arguments. Thanks to this, you do not have to remember the syntax for each function, but you can simply follow the steps provided by the wizard. We hope that this video has given you a good overview of the basics of working with formulas and functions. Be sure to check our other videos to learn more about various Office applications.